Greetings, Magic players. This is Steve from Untapped Games, and today we're going to open a Journey into Nyx Fat Pack here. Let's look on the back to see what it's got inside it. So it comes with, it says here, Theros has become a battlefield. The gods have sent their forces against the mortals to punish the hubris of a few, but the mortals have risen up in defiance, and the time has come when you will be tested against a god. So the contents are a player's guide with complete visual encyclopedia, Journey into Nyx card box, 9 Journey into Nyx 15 card booster packs, an 80 card basic land pack, a special edition spin down life counter, and 2 deck boxes. So let's crack this guy open and see what we get. I'm really excited about Journey into Nyx. The pre-release was really fun, and also there's a lot of hype surrounding this set because there's some really good cards in it. Let's see, it would be nice to get some gods in this block, or in this particular set, in order, I guess, to build excitement. Wizards has put as a very rare chance, or somewhat rare chance, of getting a god booster pack, and what that entails is, instead of getting 15 normal cards, you get all 15 gods. So that's pretty intense. It'd be awesome to open that. So there is our player's guide. That tells you about the gods and some of the cards and a little bit about the backstory. It's got a little catalog of all the cards in the set. And here is our deck box. It's a carrying case. It's got Xenagos on it, back and front. Pretty cool. And here's our cards. These are little cardboard deck boxes. And more cards. So here is the spin down life counter. On the 20 side we've got the Journey into Nyx symbol. It kind of looks like the Rebel symbol from Star Wars, but it's a combination between the Theros pillar and the Born of the Gods. I guess I don't know what the Born of the Gods symbol is. Is it like a laurel? I don't know. All right, so here's half of our packs. Let's get to them. Okay, as usual, I'm just going to focus on the rares, but if we see anything interesting, we'll stop by it. So Phalanx Formation uses Strive, which is a new mechanic in Journey into Nyx, which makes it so that you can target past the first target if you pay a bit more mana. And so it's a little bit like an X casting cost card, except it's like a variable cost. There's either the card costs a lot, and then each target costs less than that, or the other way around. As always, there's more. Okay, so here's our first rare. Dictate of Karametra, 3 and 2 green for a flash enchantment. It's part of a cycle of dictates that are flash enchantments that usually when you play an enchantment, it benefits your enemy before it benefits you. But this gets around that by letting you cast it at the end of their turn. So flash, whenever a player taps a land for mana, that player adds 1 mana to his or her mana pool of any type that land produced. So you do this at the end of your enemy's turn, and then it means that, you know, you get the benefit. They don't have an entire turn of benefit. So Riddle of Lightning, it's a foil uncommon there. Pretty nice. And then I got a spider token. Anyways, as I was saying, this, as usual, has enchantment creatures in it. I remember this guy. I remember fighting against him in the pre-release. He's actually kind of irritating. And this is another new mechanic of the set, Constellation. So Occart Dryads is 2 and a green. Constellation, whenever Occart Dryads or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. It's a 2/3. So it's an ETB effect, but it also it procs again when any other enchantment comes in play, which means that you can potentially see that that Constellation effect many times during the course of a single game, which is nice. Okay. Phalanx formation. And King Makar, the Gold Curse. So he's kind of the Midas figure of the Theros world. 2 and 2 black. Inspired. He's a legendary creature, human. Inspired. Whenever King Makar, the Gold Curse, becomes untapped, you may exile target creature. If you do, put a colorless artifact token named Gold onto the battlefield. It has sacrifice this artifact. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. 2/3. So that guy is really cool flavor-wise. I like him a lot. And also the fact that he's exiling things is pretty powerful. If you can figure out a way to tap him, then that could become a removal engine. Put him in a blue deck with Thassa's Ire, which is a fun card from this set. Ooh, my first god. And I got a bird token. Kruphix, God of Horizons. He is 3, a green and a blue, for a legendary enchantment creature, god. As usual, as a god, he's indestructible. As long as your devotion to green and blue is less than 7, Kruphix isn't a creature. You have no maximum hand size, and if unused mana would empty from your mana pool, that mana becomes colorless instead. So in other words, it doesn't empty from your mana pool, which is a very interesting mechanic. It's similar to Omnath, who's a sort of EDH staple for green. This guy is blue and green, and instead of preserving the color of the mana becomes colorless, which can be very useful anyways, for paying large mana costs and for paying anything with like a cost of X. That's really cool mechanic. That guy's 4/7, and yeah, that's pretty awesome. Mythic. Ooh, Eidolon of Blossoms. This is a promo as well, but this one's just normal. 2 and 2 green. Enchantment creature spirit. He has a constellation effect. Whenever Eidolon of Blossoms or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. And it's a 2/2. So it's kind of like an enchantress, except that you also draw a card when it enters play. So it's more expensive than an enchantress by I think 1 mana, but it's pretty cool because it procs as soon as it comes into play, and then thereafter whenever another enchantment enters the battlefield. So pretty cool. It's always nice when your enchantments replace themselves, because in the enchantment removal, especially with auras, is just, you're not going to feel as bad about that. Daring Thief. 2 and a blue. It's a human rogue. Inspired. Whenever Daring Thief becomes untapped, you may exchange control of target non-land permanent you control and target permanent an opponent controls that shares a card type with it. And it's a 2/3. That guy is pretty interesting. Yeah, That's weird. I don't have any particular comments on that. I can imagine there being really interesting uses of that, especially if you have you know, maybe you just have like a bunch of little weenie creatures, and then you're exchanging control of your weenie creatures with their huge brutes. That could be interesting. Not a valid strategy in and of itself, but it would be funny nonetheless. Oops. So this, I believe, is just a land pack for deck building. I'll open it just to see if there's maybe tokens or anything in it, but I believe it's just lands. Should be maybe one of every Theros land, maybe. I'm seeing some duplication in here, so maybe it's just mixed lands. Equal amounts, though, it seems. So there's that. Let's continue. Continue in the quest for God Pack. It's unlikely that I'll get a God Pack in 9 booster packs, but later on, when I open a booster box, I'm going to be really crossing my fingers. Another Dictate of Karametra. Twin Flame. 1 and a red for a sorcery, and this is a Strive card, so Twin Flame costs 2 and a red more to cast for each target beyond the first. Choose any number of target creatures you control. For each of them, put a token that's a copy of that creature onto the battlefield. Those tokens have haste. Exile them at the beginning of the next end step. So that's useful. It's a little expensive, but useful, because even for 1 and a red, if you're doing that to a big creature, then that gets pretty out of control pretty fast. Of course, to get the most bang for your buck, you're going to want to do it to maybe like 2 creatures, but then it's already 5 mana for that. But if you have a lot of mana in the game, that could be a good finisher. Cruel Feeding is our foil common, bird token. Master of the Feast. He is an enchantment creature. He's 1 and 2 black, and he's a demon. He has flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent draws a card, and he's 5/5. So after you bring him out, the first time this is going to happen is your next turn. So you're going to increase their card gain, and basically you're hopefully putting them on a really quick clock. It's kind of, it's sort of a variation on the Suicide Black theme, where you are just trying to end the game as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, drawing cards means that they could be drawing solutions to this, but you're banking on just being able to overwhelm them with power, which is a very black themed. It's sort of a typecast. What's the word I'm looking for, guys? It's part of the color identity. Is you know, power at any cost. Disciple of Deceit, Eidolon of Rhetoric, and Deicide. This card is crazy. 1 and a white for an instant. Exile target enchantment. If the exiled card is a god card, search its controller's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name as that card and exile them. Then that player shuffles his or her library. And it's a picture of Elspeth straight up murdering Xenagos. It's pretty cool art there, by Jason Chan. And yeah, so that's pretty harsh. It's a very thorough way to get rid of their gods. So yeah, that is a very useful against the sideboard against those devotion decks. Okay guys, so that's that. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page. We have a contest going on right now where we're giving away half a booster box of Journey into Nyx. We only have a few days left, so get into that as soon as you can. I think that we're going to be choosing actually the winners tomorrow. So assuming you see this before May 1st, get in on that Facebook contest. If you don't, then check out our Facebook page anyways, because we're always having Facebook contests, and we give away a lot of stuff that way. Other than that, you can find these cards and this product on untapgames.com. So check it out. It would help us if you just browse our page. And as always, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and have a great day.